All right, boys and girls, the blessing of Kendrick wasn't enough for PBA to win the first game, but man, did they sell themselves well in this one.
PBA, I think, surprised a lot of people with their gameplay just now. I mean, there was a few moments to where if that Shadow Stalk had worked, I mean, that could have been a completely different fight. I mean, that was just a huge moment in this game.
I think maybe they even surprised eStar. I don't know that eStar was necessarily expecting that, but at the end of the day, Xingxi and Greymane, I'm telling you, it is just too much to deal with.
You can go as even earlier than the Shadowstalks as well, and look at the first Immortal. The first Immortal died, or was still alive, on 5 HP.
Yeah.
5 HP! That could have been the difference between PBA getting to level 10 at exactly the same time as eStar,
Right.
or them actually being able to scale into the, I would say, better phases for eStar mid towards late, where they really gain control. Earlier, there was a little bit of hesitation.
Right, I cannot wait what Jayhao has in store for us because there were many explosive moments in that first game.
Well, I think one of the things we're going to look at is some of the things that PBA actually did well. And this is the power of Falstad. And we'll go ahead and pause this real quick. This is when Falstad flew up. And now he had a little bit of backup because Murden went ahead and Dwarf Toss. But this is when action really started to pick up. Let's roll it forward just a little bit. You can see the support starting to come in. We do see eStar starting to rotate in. But Toomey's still in a lot of trouble. Here comes a little bit of a misplay. This misses, but right here, you're going to see a Devouring Maul start to lock it down, and this is what really turned the fight. Now, let's pause that real quick. The thing that worked out for them is they took off 2 members out of the board. Mosh Pit over here completely neutralized. If that doesn't land, this is a completely different fight, and this is something PBA did real well. This is going to force a cancel of the Mosh Pit. We'll go ahead and roll it forward. Toomey can't really commit. He's so low in health, and this gave an opportunity for PBA to really make a stand. The minute they hit 10, they turned this around. They took down Zool. They continued the assault. We're going to see the full-on assault going after NCCC there, and beautiful Lunar Flare landing there at the very end. And this is one of PBA's, one of their many moments they had in this game.
Yeah, I'm really glad you highlighted this fight, actually, because this, for me, like, you got to realize that going into this fight, they were 2 levels down. Finding Zool in that situation, isolated as far as they did, that was one of their best opportunities to get themselves back into the game in a phase where eStar is normally very strong. So, despite it not going their way, it was still strong.
Yeah, that's the one reason why I said, you know, looking at the heroic abilities, if PBA can time those out correctly, separate out, never let the full force of eStar hit them at once, then they could do really well with that. It just didn't always work out as planned.
It didn't always work out, but they certainly had a couple of flashy moments, especially that Morande, actually, yeah. Those Morande plays, so to speak, where you lock someone down with the Stormbolt and you follow up with the Lunar Flare. Those were excellently played. And Jayhao, we have another highlight.
We're talking about flashy moments and the things that really stood out. And this is the moment. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's pause it real quick. And I want you to make sure and recognize that every member is shadow stalked here. We're going to see a little bit of commitment come in from Zagara. And this is when things go. And this is one of the things that eStar, this is where it turns on the dime. We'll go ahead and move this. Now, NCCC is trapped here. But Cleanse, thank you very much. Get out of there. And now all of a sudden this fight turns around. And this is where the Mighty Gust just isn't enough. The Poison Nova is out. He's rooted. We see the re-engagement from eStar. Beautiful ancestral landing there, and this is when things really turned around. It's 19-18. eStar forced this fight, and this is when things kind of went all over the place. We saw Thrall go down up in the top, and Murden back here just continuing to distract. PBA all trying to disappear, but look at Greymane. This is what Todd was just talking about. Greymane was feasting all day long. The fact that he was able to do that, I mean, it was just great follow-up there.
That was also a really good highlight of how Zhao Ti and Naicha work together, something that you had mentioned to me too, and we got to talk about. The minute Naicha needed to leave, needed to get back, Zhao Ti burrow charged in to take off the pressure from him, and all the time it was just a distraction so that Xingxi stacked up could get into the back and just start wrecking all of the squishy heroes.
And I hate to continue on the eStar hype train here, but they won and it's fair, so we'll keep doing that. Like, the thing is that something that really stood out to me was Tiger's positioning and Tiger's play. On the Rehgar, on the support, we're still extremely aggressive. Even in that fight that you watched there, he was zoning out Tyrande and Falstad for a little while down there towards the bottom, because actually Rehgar doesn't die too easily to that, while PBA is kind of tunnel visioning onto a target that they think is low a little bit further away.
On the flip side, though, Tiger was also out-positioned a little bit and didn't really land all the Ancestor healings, right?
Some of the Ancestrals
weren't actually on point. But let's actually take a look at what the second battleground is going to be. And I have a feeling that we will stay with the Diablo theme and go to Infernal Shrines. A little bit of a different battleground, different play style. Is it as team fight oriented as Battlefield of Eternity, Jay-How?
I think it definitely gives them an opportunity to be able to do that because you know exactly where they're going to be fighting. Everybody's contending over the exact same point. I think that that's something that we do see. We've seen some interesting picks. This is another one of the teams that isn't afraid to run something like a Kerrigan on this map, and the Zool once again. So we're going to see if there's much of a contest over Zool, who's one of the stronger heroes on this map, Gilly.
Yeah, I mean, they already show that they want to run Zool on Battlefield of Eternity, which is not something that we see as much as the Infernal Shrines, but eStar do really like that hero. And the Rhaegar you brought up, that's an interesting one for me too, to see Tiger on that specifically, and that's maybe why some of the Ancestrals didn't connect, is because in Gold League, they're way more focused on having Uther. So we'll see if that continues, the Rhaegar priority, or if it was just for that Battleground specifically.
And it's funny that we see that first ban on Zool here, because I actually talked to Wolf during the game, and he said that it wasn't actually as much of a factor, but on this map in particular, when you have all that wave clear and all that split push potential, it makes a lot of sense.
One of the other heroes that I like, obviously Zool has such good wave clear and he's so effective on the objective, but one of the other heroes that we didn't see earlier, but we probably will see this time, is Sylvanas.
Yeah.
What she applies when she applies that pressure, a lot of times you can kind of just soft defend the first few Immortals, but with a Sylvanas, you can lock stuff down, and what looked like an easy defense, all of a sudden you're down a level very early in the game.
She's contested highly in both of these regions. In Taiwan, a lot of the teams were fighting over her, and same for China. So we might see her earlier picked even than we would normally versus or from two other teams who are going up against each other. But now PBA has some options. Kael'thas has been a hero people really like on Infernal Shrines because he can snipe away a lot of those skeletal defenders.
They do like Sonya on this map as well, just to be able to start doing
Right.
the good old whirlwinds and cleaning things up. And it is a strong front line, and especially with the amount of control that they've had across these kind of positions, it could come out, but at the same time, I won't be surprised if they go back to their good old Muradin fun times.
Right, they've been first picking Muradin so much, but it seems like in this tournament specifically, ETC has just brought more value to a team, but a lot of times it's because it's paired with the Kael'thas, but they're going to go ahead and grab Greyman, and I like that. Not only is he good for clearing out the shrines, but take him away from eStar.
Yeah.
Half ban.
I'm curious if we will see an early ETC Kael'thas pickup. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kael'thas picked up here very early on by eStar. That lends to a lot of what they're doing. But again, when we've looked at them historically, they're not afraid to run some different comps. We've seen them on a Brightwing. We've seen them on a Kerrigan on this map. But Kael'thas right now so strong, is that going to be a first pick option? I mean, there's just so much potential when you do look at Kael'thas on this map.
I would not mind seeing Zhao T's Kerrigan again. It is fun.
I mean, we've been talking about Kerrigan connected to this battleground in particular. Can anyone maybe highlight why she is so good here and not on the other battlegrounds necessarily?
Her Q ability, the Ravage, to be able to get in, that does get the reset when you kill, and you can basically rotate that over onto the minions or the monsters that spawn from the shrine. If you can follow that up, make sure you secure that kill. It helps build the shields, helps keep everybody, or keeps her alive, and makes her, this is by far her best map.
Right.
Yeah, she clears out those monsters remarkably well.
Yes.
You wouldn't think so, but she really does do well with that. But that's not the way they're going. They've picked up Sonya. They also grab Rhaegar. Now PVA with two more picks going in. Do we see them grab the Muradin here?
I mean, even Falstad's still open. Something that they could go for.
Definitely, you always want to make sure to get a little bit of follow-up for Sonya. She is so strong when she has a couple of stun targets in front of her, right? Not necessarily only for the leap, but also for the mystical spear later on, right? You want to follow up on someone. She's not the greatest initiator unless she goes for leap.
And before level 20, because after that she's invincible and she never dies. So that's nice for Sonya.
Especially on this battleground, which tends to go longer.
Yes.
I'm curious if PBA is looking at ETC now. Is that something that's in their hero pool, and is it something they feel comfortable running? Because if not, you can rest assured that unless they ban it out, eStar is going to be the one to pick it up. I'm curious if they're going to try and prioritize maybe something around the Warriors, try and pick one up now, and then try and ban around it. I honestly feel like that would be in their best interest to, one, either pick up the ETC, or two, try and work around it.
They have played him before at their regionals, so not at this event. But now with picking up Kael'thas too, I really do like that grab for him. My other concern is if they're concerned now about being locked out of the support that they need, Seeing eStar grab Rhaegar could also be a problem, but nope, full damage. We're grabbing Thrall.
I mean, why care about frontlining warriors and supports when you can just go all in and go face pretty much? And who is better suited for this task than the Green Jesus himself?
This is the thing that eStar and the Asian region loves to do. They love to play around the supports. Pick up Rhaegar, ban Uther. This is, again, the thing that we see so much of. Can PBA deal with that?
They're like, wow,
running solo Tyrande and almost works.
They're like, wow, great. You have Greymane and Thrall. Good luck keeping them alive without Divine Shield.
I love the Tassadar ban, by the way. Love that ban.
It is so necessary to keep Sonya in check.
And Tassadar as well. He offers so much poke potential. I mean, just think about the amount of damage he can get out casually. He's basically unkillable. He lends so much support to Sonya, paired up especially with Rhaegar. It's just, Tassadar works so well on this map.
Now they're gaining way more control, though. Can you, like, how often do we see Muradin Falstad picked up that late down a draft? eStar's draft at the moment looks pretty terrifying. I know PBA has a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but unless everything couples up to kill a Sonya behind that kind of position, it's going to be difficult.
Oh, they're thinking about it. They've played him before. They're one of those teams who's been bringing out Tychus more and more. And this is one of the battlegrounds that he excels on. You place the drill in the center of the shrine, and you either use it to take out the defenders, or if the team tries to engage in, then you just single target burst someone down.
And of course, Johanna has one of the highest hit point pools of any warrior in the game. So bye-bye Johanna in some of these instances. It's going to be difficult to stay alive.
Do you feel like that's almost like a safe pickup as opposed to going with someone like ETC who might be a little bit more prone to getting blown up? Because ETC, again, we've hyped him up so much to work with Kael'thas to be able to provide the type of initiation that a team would need, but Johanna is a very strong pick, but I feel it's a very safe pick.
It's almost playing to the map objective as opposed to the map rotation potential for them, which I don't mind. It can work out. Just don't know against the eStar's draft because it looks so solid across the board.
It looks really solid, and there's an old saying, like, when you see that the enemy team has a strong backline, what do you pick? You pick melee engage to keep them busy, and while they're running, they can't damage you.
True.
Yeah. So, Jayhao, who do you think is going to come out on top in this second game of the series?
Like the draft of both teams, the team that surprised me is the team I'm going with this time. I'm picking PBA this time around.
All right.
I'm sticking with eStar. I love their Tychus play, and I can't wait to see it work here.
All right. And Kalaris?
I'm sticking with my guns. I'm going with eStar. I think they'll do even better than on the previous map.
Right, and I'm actually going to go sync here with my man Jayhao. I think PBA has what it takes. The Kenergy is strong in this one, so hopefully it's going to work out. Would be cool for the Taiwanese team, of course. For now, though, let's actually move it over to Tot and Kaldor. Boys, do it one more time.
A 1-0 lead already for eStar, and well, Todd, we're going to head into game number 2, and it's going to be an exciting one. We have the Renegade back to business.
Yeah, we'll see if eStar can do a little bit better, because although they won that last game, you know, there was a few mistakes here and there that maybe we didn't expect out of them.
Yeah, PBA definitely showing that they have the potential to take at least the map here, and we have them in blue to the left. It is Zola on Karazem, Alpha on Greymane. God Dog is this time playing Kael'thas with Baphomet at the front line on Thrall and Skrull on Johanna.
And their opponent, starting on the right-hand side, playing as the red team, is of course eStar with NC on the Muradin, Tiger on Rhaegar, Turmi on Falstad, Xiaoti on the Sonya, and Xingxi on the Tychus.
It's also interesting to see that Tychus immediately went for Shrug It Off there. We've, of course, in the past already seen quite a bit of variety when we're talking Tychus play. His level 1 talents are actually very much diverse. Oftentimes, it is the dash that comes into play. We have seen Press the advantage. In this case, it's only the safety that he's really worried about. And especially with Thrall and Greymane, of course, looking at potential kills against Tychus, it is understandable.
Yeah, reverberation on Muradin here, no surprise.
Well, for now, already a little bit of poke in the mid-game. Look at the top, though. There is a bit of a trap set up. Muradin is looking for an opening. Baphomet is playing it very safe. Is he going to overextend at some point? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, just like in the previous game, this is the same scenario, you know, like he knows that they could be there and could be going to try and gank him at any time, so he plays it safe, but at the bottom, Johanna gets caught here.
Yeah, Johanna in a bit of trouble. Scroll moving back. Jingzi with the attempt for damage, but look at Toomey who barely escapes. The problem is, of course, that Scroll is not so lucky. Johanna dying, and they are trying to go for Alpha 2, but he at least is safe for now.
And the owner and team captain of eStar here, Shouty, moves in, gets the snipe, and then eject safely to go back to the top, not even missing a single minion up there as well.
Yeah, rotations were actually really strong here. Shouty moving down to the bottom, helping out with a kill, then moving straight up to top. There is not really a huge difference when it comes to experience. It's a slight lead, of course, for eStar thanks to the kill that they got here, but the rotation is still going on strong for PBA. They go from the mid down to the bot and are trying to just like get as much going for them as they can. Level 4 is the goal as the shrine is now being announced.
How do you like Tigers here? I guess in a composition where there is a Johanna, a Thrall.
I actually like Tigers like more and more in the meta. I mean, seeing him involved in the kill at the top lane against Thrall. This time Baphomet actually not being as careful. Tigers is really good with all the percentage damage that he can throw out, and especially his heroic ability can help on this map a lot. Oftentimes we see him against heavy melee front lines. This Tigers with the mobility wants to, of course, stay in the back a little bit. So in this case, it's Johanna that will feel a lot of pressure from Tigers. This is a good pick for them.
Shouty is spinning to win here on that shrine so far, already getting 9 of the skeletons. He's basically alone. He doesn't even care here. The rest of the team is just covering him, watching him do the work.
The kill
Get in there, Sonya, and do your job.
Yeah, the kill against Thrall was actually what already initiated that, and forced it is even up at the top. So now it's experience lost for PBA.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that is, of course, a very different meta that we're seeing here also. We've been talking game number 1 a lot about the Chinese meta and their focus on aggression. Talking aggression, I'll find the backline. Here comes that Wolf going strong. Tiger already moving back. Fawcett finally flying in, turning into a 5 versus 5. But Rhaegar had to tap the well and is now starting to come back as PBA is going for another push.
Yeah, healing totem was selected on level 4, and which is very early. Muradin gets blown up instantly there, and eStar with another healing totem here. Gonna have to try and wait a little bit to get some more hit points.
Zola was so close to dying, gets another healing through, had no dash ready, does again, they jump on Jingzi, Tigers, here comes Alpha, he wants the kill, but Tiger got enough mana for a healing, got that through. On the other hand, Kel'Thas in the backline is in trouble, Toomey secures the kill, but it is also Sonya that dies. The Punisher still in the hands of eStar though, and they are not done chasing Todd.
Yeah, they're gonna go for more here. Tiger moves in there, tries to get the snipe on Baphomet. Oh! She gets him, but probably not gonna get up.
my
They get
God!
the frame in as well.
I can't believe it! They take down both and Tiger survives! What an aggressive play! They jump after Karazim! These guys are crazy!
They just won't stop. Any opportunity that they get to try and get a takedown for themselves, they go for. And look at this behind this. Sonya goes back to the top, right back to soaking. Falstad's gonna stay in middle. They don't lose any experience almost.
Insta replay, of course. Like, look at that engage. They go deep for the kill. Greymane falls. There's the trap against Karazim. Scroll goes in position for the dash.
And
but
NC
it's
was like, I'm
not
going for it.
enough. And Todd, keep in mind what I said in game number 1. It's really this aggression for team fights that as a Taiwanese team, they highlighted it when I talked to them. They said, like, we are looking for these engages. We are looking for these fights where we get high risk, high reward. And that's exactly what eStar just showed. If they lose Rhaegar before Greymane falls or before Thrall falls, they are going to lose 2-3 heroes there. So that was definitely a huge risk that they were running, but they got rewarded for it.
Yeah, both teams here, I guess, in terms of engagement, gonna have to do a very good job here from now so far. eStar is leading 6 tech down to 2. They've got a level lead. They're in a fantastic position, really. Look at that camp pushing in the middle as well. Like, Johanna is struggling to defend against that. The towers are out of ammo here. And
Now,
I mean,
one
they
of the
don't do
things
anything.
that's going to be really important here is that we currently see both the teams still on the same talent. And we have actually Johanna even waiting for her level 7 choice right now. But the reason why it's actually very important is that the chances for the next shrine to be fought on even talents are still pretty high. It's 1.5 levels until eStar hits level 10. So if that's the case, then PBA needs to make a big play there. Because their problem is that this is also a map that can snowball quite a bit.
How do you like Greymane's build here with Wolf Hearts, Ice in the Dark?
It's actually like a really common build. The Quicksilver Bullets as a level 7 talent, it gives you a bit more safety. You can stay in the back a bit longer, and then later on 20, when you pick the AoE damage on the shots up, then you have incredible wave clear at a very, very safe cost. So it's really an awesome talent to take. It's the more passive version of what eStar was running in the last game, where they committed full to the attack. But you have to think about like who's at the front line there. In the last game, Greymane had always at least 2 up to 3 heroes right next to him. With Rhaegar was even a 4th. So the chance of him escaping were always always huge. In this case, it's a little bit lacking. So I like that they played a bit safer, especially given the situation in the game now.
Knowing that the shrines were going to come up, Tiger went back home with the Hearthstone, made sure that he was full mana, full hit points, and he gets right back in there. And with level 10 closing in, you know, you talked about how we might see same talents, but it looks like so far eStar might be able to have their ultimates against their opponent that wouldn't, and that would be bad news here, obviously, for PBA.
It worked brilliantly out for eStar now, and this is one of the reasons why we don't even see PBA going for the Shrine. They realize that they lost the Punisher here. They're just trying to soak experience, and eStar is going to look for a kill, and they find it. They see Goddog, they go in. He has no chance in this situation. Great move by eStar.
I mean, they can just leave Shouty on the Shrine anyway to get these skeletons.
That was a very safe movement by Kel'Thas as well. He already moved to the safe part to the left side, but eStar was aggressively looking for a kill because they knew that they have the level 10. They see the opponent split, and they're just saying, guys, we're going to hunt them down now while we leave Sonya on the Shrine to take the objective.
Very high-level game here out of eStar already in map number 2. This is the eStar that we know usually makes it very far in the Asian tournaments and usually only kind of ends up losing to MVP Black. That's how they're looking here right now.
And they can actually avenge that record if they are taking MVP Black out in the group. But I mean, we're not there yet. PBA is still fighting for it, and they now have the level 10s.
It's crazy, actually, that this is the next match here that we could have in this group in the winners match.
Commandeer Odin has been taken right now. We had actually 2 heroes waiting for their ults. Karazim also has not made a choice yet. We don't see the drill. And here comes Odin, and they're going for it together with the Punisher. That's a huge amount of push power that they're rocking here at this point. They jump up to the top, where we're seeing Alpha in trouble. Alpha trying to get away. 7-sided use. They're jumping in 4-sided with a gust. Gets it in. They're slowed as well. What a hit with a boomerang, and Thrall is down.
Yeah, PBA is absolutely getting slaughtered. Jinxie was so confident. He even dashed forward earlier here on the Odin.
8 kills against 2, level 13 around the corner. eStar, the Chinese team, is showing why they are one of the teams that everybody expected to get out of this group. Right now, they're going for the camps. They paint the map red. They're just making sure that they hold complete map control in their hands.
It feels like first map was warm-up for eStar, and like now in map number 2, they're going for it, this time for real. They haven't lost a single tower or wall. Everything's almost intact here in terms of structured damage. They really haven't taken any damage.
I feel really that PBA's approach to the first map was a bit better than what we're seeing here right now. They're doing, in the early, on the first map they did fairly well, but now, as you already pointed out, eStar is just absolutely rocking this. They dominate. That's the stuff on 13 now. So we have minigun talents on 4 and 13 taken. Extra heal for Tychus and sustain there for now as well. With Flow Rider already Falstad signaling that he wants to make sure that he just gets those abilities spammed out. He has the Boomerang, he has the Gathering Storm, and at this point, he's still a little bit on the low end of the damage bonus on 38, but it has been working out beautifully.
Earth Living Ancient on the Rhaegar here, you have to think, you know, with how he was positioning himself last game and kind of failing with some of the being out of position for some of the ultimates. This is definitely going to come in handy if he has to save somebody last second.
It's actually like a very rare talent to be seen, especially in the Western scene. It's normally just like you either want to go for your shield or you want to instead go for the cooldown reduction. This is definitely when the Chinese meta is kicking in, the differences between the regions. That's why we are looking at these globals. We want to see globals for exactly that reason. How do those differences in the meta measure up against each other? And with the Urge Living Enchantment, that's of course a cool talent to take here.
Cleanse was used here in a little bit of a panic, even though that stun was dodged here by Baphomet. But now with the Shrine coming up at the top and being only level 12 and half, that's going to be so many skeletons going to eStar. Even look at Jinxie. He was camping in a bush here, waiting for Zola to go a little bit too far.
Zola dashing in and dashing out. I mean, they could still pick up enough experience to fight on 13 talents.
And again, it's going to be Shouty on the Shrine alone, doing the job and making sure that they're collecting a lot of these skeletons.
eStar.
Meanwhile, the rest of the team tries to engage.
eStar is waiting for a kill. They're looking for one, but look at the top. Skull wants the wave. They want the 13. They're not gonna get it. It's so close, but now finally they pick it up. This is their chance to fight. They have an opportunity to fight on even talents now. We're seeing them with the Pyromaniac. The Giant Killer on Thrall is gonna be super important. Hold your ground for Johanna. Survivalist, everything here for them. They start to engage, but eStar is jumping in.
Yeah, Johanna is trying to tank as much damage as she can. eStar just pull back. They're happy with just being patient here, leaving Sonya to collect more skeletons for now.
Yeah, once again, running wild, also taking on Greyman. He looks for an opening. Johanna at the front with a peel. Baphomet trying to isolate. Nobody using his ult just yet. They need to blow someone up. 22 versus 11 minions. They're moving in again. PBA is looking for the opening.
eStar is being so patient. They're saying to PBA, you're either going to take a bad engagement into us or we're going to get the Punisher there and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. And PBA, they are trying to stay patient themselves, but yeah, it's too late.
They're jumping in, but it's way too late for that. The Punisher goes straight to eStar, and PBA gets gusted into a corner. The Punisher is going to have a field day here as well. Everybody's jumping in. Kel'Thas already in trouble. At the same time, we're seeing Johanna jump. She dodges it, but Kel'Thas is dead. Now the death of Zola on Karazhan. Baphomet is also annihilated. 2 heroes survive, and we see eStar rocking the top lane and brutalizing everything.
Yeah, Alpha's not going anywhere either. Gets jumped on top of. He's gonna go down as well.
Pretty big misplay here for PBA.
Yeah.
That was way too late for an engage. At this point, you let the Punisher go. There was no chance.
It's not like in Punisher though. Like, he's the scariest one by far. Like they've probably realized too late that they had to go for it no matter what.
Even after the nerf to the Arcane Punisher, it is still the strongest one, and they have level 60 now. It's a 3-level lead. Commandeer Odin again popped, and they are moving in. They want their keep, and the Punisher is gonna give it to them. 7-sided against Sonya, not doing anything here. Once again, Jingzi with a very good position, but very low health. He has to actually move away, and they save the keep. They save it. That was actually well played. Once that Sonya started going deep, 7-sided was true against them. Tyke's blown to pieces. Well done, God Dog here with a godly move. I'm liking it.
He finally found, I guess, some sort of opening here to make something happen. And I caught him out of position.
I mean,
blew him up.
The damage on their side it's really all about Kel'Thas. 29,000.
They might go for an engagement here because they got a big snipe, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, they have to do something.
Squall has vision over there on the right-hand side, camping in that bush. Here we go.
They're jumping in. It's a 5 versus 4. It's the one chance that they have.
It's not there.
Thrall is not even there. That's the reach problem because they're still down a talent. Thrall is making his way out. 7-sided use, but he's so low. He's trying to dash away. Zola escapes again. The Ancestral hits Sonya. Gust used. They're jumping on Johanna though. And Baphomet is also low. Again, Karazhan with a save, but it's just simply not enough.
A 4 versus 5 here. That eStar is just gonna win. I guess Thrall not being there from the start of the fight. He's not gonna do it for PBA. And they almost get wiped out here once more with just Greyman surviving this time. And Tychus comes back to the fight. What's up? Starts looking some XP in middle.
eStar, they play a fantastic game now. 16 kills to 3. We're seeing them with a 3-level lead. 18 versus 15 now. The extra talent. They barrel through the mid lane and they show no mercy. They're trying to take down the keep here. The next Punisher is going to spawn soon too. Alpha is there. He's doing what he can. He has to be careful that he doesn't die. 66 extra damage by now on Falstad. The keep is gone and the damage output is just insane. They move back and now of course they have the best chance to go for a Punisher and maybe even get the core.
eStar's numbers are crazy.
Oh yeah.
16 takedowns against 3, and in terms of healing and damage tanked, they're just so far above their opponent in everything.
Look at Tychus. 40,000 damage. He is ahead of everybody else. Tychus with his minigun is doing whatever he can to keep the opponent low. And it has actually shown, especially Johanna and Thrall are having huge problems at the front line. Whenever they are in range, Tychus is focusing on them and they have to back. And Karazhan, he is trying so hard to heal all of it out, but really struggling to make it happen.
Johanna has actually felt like really fragile this game. Every time she goes forward, she just falls so fast. Every single time.
Yeah, the problem that they have is that they actually have to pop their Iron Skin very early in these fights. Their hopes really bank on the level 16 talent. This is the final stand tot. Even talents once again, and I can guarantee it's the last time that you are going to fight on even talents if you don't win this one. Once again, they're starting to jump in. 7-sided use, but they kill against Thrall. Not like this. That's not what they want here. Zola dies again. Ancestral, Mighty Gast. He doesn't even have to use it. They isolate everybody. He keeps his ult up. It's a quad kill. Greymane is on the run. And there's just no way.
He tried to leave his team behind and escape. Hide in a corner, but that's not going to happen. The full team wipe. And eStar are gonna go straight for the core.
They don't even bother anymore. The GG is called. The Taiwanese team, they said already qualifying for this event in the first place was a huge victory. They made it out of the first group stage. Now in the first best of 3 series in the second group stage, they lose to a very strong Chinese opponent. Well played by eStar. A great duel victory here. GG and well played, and eStar takes game number 2 and wins the series without dropping a map.
Tychus finished the game on 47,000 damage. Definitely did his job there, and very well as well. Other than for that one time he got caught by God Dog, I guess, so you can only do so much.
Feels good, man. Well played here. Great job by eStar. And of course, they go up against MVP Black now, and that is going to be an absolutely amazing game.
This is another one of those matches that feels like it's going to be the finals before the actual finals, man.
Yeah, I mean, the groups that we have are so stacked. We are seeing like absolutely fantastic matches here. And of course, like really, really happy. I mean, for the Taiwanese team, it's not over just yet. They actually are going to face Naventic in the losers match.
Yeah, that's going to be a good match stylistically as well. You know, we've talked a little bit about this, how the meta are so different, the drafts.
Yeah, and let's not forget that already one NA team was eliminated by PBA. That could happen again. So Naventic has to be very careful. Against MVP, they struggled a lot. Now against PBA, they could make it at least into the constellation match. But I mean, we have, of course, a lot of things to talk about. The series was very strong by eStar, and we are going to hear from Jeho and the rest of the crew how exactly that victory came to pass.
Please buff Arthas, they fought valiantly, but in the end, it was not enough to take down the Chinese dragon that is eStar Gaming. Especially in that second game, guys, we gotta be honest, eStar Gaming, they showed their claws and they used them to annihilate the defenses of PBA. Anything that stood out to you in comparison to game number 1?
To say that they figured out their opponent is an understatement. I mean, they completely dominated that game in dramatic fashion. The fact that they were able to take such a strong stance. This is a map that you guys talked about where aggression actually applied to their rotations. We saw it very early on, Caleres, and the fact that they were able to rotate and get early picks and get them throughout.
Yeah, that's true. I said in the previous game, I'm like, I'm impressed by Tiger's aggression. And then this came along and he survived on 5 health and killed 2 people. I'm impressed by his aggression. On his side of the map, past forts, I'm like, all right, Tiger, just chill out, mate, chill out. So that was impressive. And I also really liked the Odin pick because it actually synergized. If you know you're going to get Punishers, it actually synergizes really well with it. You are guaranteed to get value because they're always on the defensive foot and you can just start sieging up and doing a lot of damage. It was cool.
Jeho, replay number 1 now.
I think one of the things that we do look at from time to time is individual players, and in this one, we're going to take a look at a lot of what Toomey did. Now, this is an instant zoning, and it might even be unintentional, but you can see kind of out of position is the Punisher up at the top. But let's go ahead and pause this real quick. In here in just a moment, you're going to see a nice fly-in. But look at the group up here by PBA. They're rotating up, trying to defend from this Punisher, and I'm not sure if this was the right call. Let's go ahead and roll it forward just a little bit. The minute they group up is when Falstad is going to say, hey, wait a minute, this is an opportunity. Now, this could have been much worse for PBA. In comes Falstad. He's going to instantly Mighty Gust down. He traps quite a few people there. They only get 1 kill, but Toomey on point with his rotations. We saw the Mighty Gust several times out, help make plays, and PBA just kind of got caught out there, and they capitalized instantly. The fact that he noticed that, rotated up, was beautiful.
I think you want to look at also Tychus' positioning during all of that. When they were gusted down, he was still in Odin form, and he was firing across the wall at them, doing big damage alongside where Sonya was whirlwinding for a brief moment before she ended up stopping. So that was massive damage being done off the back of that gust positioning.
What do you think, Illy? We've seen Tychus mostly with a Draken Laser these days. Why did they go for that Commandeer Odin?
Well, I think a lot of what Caleres said, they were able to use it to push along with the Punisher. They already knew they had the ability to win fights. They had won fights in the last game, so they were going to be able to take out their opponents, win the shrines, and then bring out the Odin instead of needing to make sure they had more of the zoning tool from the drill. And that's actually something that MVP Black versus Tempest brought out was Odin. So I think maybe there's just a general starting to be more of a switch to that heroic for Tychus players.
I'm pretty sure we have another highlight, don't we, Jeho?
Yeah, this is another one. I'm telling you, I love the play of Toomey on this one in particular. And let's go ahead and pause it real quick so we can understand exactly what's going on here. So they just hit 13. It's 13 to 15. Down at the bottom, you can see the Guardians are pretty much all but killed. And this is the hardest part in that they felt like they needed to force the fight. But once again, let's highlight 2 different. And now we're going to see, let's go ahead and roll it forward. This is where the Mighty Gust is going to come, and it's going to isolate 4 members of PBA. Toomey just says, here you go ahead in this corner. We're going to see a Sundering come out from Thrall that's not going to be able to catch Sonya because she's on the back line. It only catches 1, and this is just where an absolute massacre happens. The Ancestrals were on point time and time again, and we saw eStar go in. They chose their moments. They were able to get the kills, and Toomey was a big big factor in that.
Right, and we're now joined by Zhao Ti, the leader and captain, of course, of eStar Gaming. Welcome to the panel. We're now just going to wait until the replay's
Yeah,
over.
the fly over here from Toomey once again. That's where he used the flight. That was kind of the exciting part, is that he was able to
once again, Zhao Ti, welcome to the panel, and congratulations on your victory against PBA. Now, we have to ask you, did you expect PBA to play so well in Game 1, and what changed in Game 2 that it was so one-sided?
首先恭喜你已经获得胜利。那你觉得 PBA 打得好吗？好像第一场他们打得蛮好的，然后可是第二场你们看起来就非常的很厉害。那你觉得什么？第一跟第二场有什么分别呢？
就第一场的话，我们还没有正式进入状态，然后最近练习都比较少嘛，然后我觉得第一场就是没有把差距拉开，就是我们有很多的失误吧。然后第二场的话，我觉得算一个我们正常发挥。对。
So because we haven't been able to practice much lately, so I think the game 1 was kind of like a warm up for us. We made a lot of mistakes, but in game 2 we performed like we usually would as a team.
Right, we could definitely see that. Now, Kiloweed is eager to ask you some more questions.
Yeah, so we have heard some rumors about roster swaps. We weren't quite sure who would be playing with you guys. Can you tell us maybe a little bit more about maybe the direction you plan for your team, or are you just mainly focusing on this event?
你的团队你有没有好像更改一些选手吗？还是你们会一直在一起玩呢？
就是我跟那个 NCCC 就是说打完这一次就应该会退役，然后我们这个阵容就是在一起打了差不多从疯狂英雄开始到现在一直在打，对。
After this event, me and my teammate NCCC are thinking of retiring from the scene, and we have been very old teammates since previous games, so we will retire together.
All right.
You now will go up against MVP Black, and the last match that you played versus them was amazing. So have you been planning anything specific to try to take them out?
下一场你们会打 MVP Black， 那你有没有这样特别的战术想应付他们呢？
我们跟 MVP Black 交手过很多次，但是我们总是以比较就是打得很焦灼嘛，然后还是输了比较多。MVP Black 很强，然后我们也会全力以赴去对待他们。
We don't have anything special planned because we have fought against MVP Black multiple times. So even though we lose quite often against MVP, we will try our best and we will see if we can beat them.
All right, thank you very much, Zhao Ti, and good luck to you and your boys for the upcoming match.
祝你好运。
Thank you.
With that being said, though, let's actually take a look at the bracket and see how it has changed for Group A here in the second group stage for the Heroes of the Storm Summer Championship. As we mentioned earlier, or a few seconds ago, in fact, the winner's match is going to consist of the matchup between MVP Black, the reigning world champion, against the finest team on paper that China has to offer. This is certainly one of the big games that every Heroes of the Storm fan is looking forward to. In the lower bracket, we see Team Naventic against PBA, who admittedly looked very strong in the first game against eStar, but as Zhao Ti was just pointing out, it was more of a warm-up and practice match, so it remains to be seen how strong PBA can fight against Naventic. Guys, if you see those upcoming matchups in both the winner's match and the loser's match, is there something you're looking especially forward to?
I mean, first off, it's Clash of the Titans, but I'm more interested in the fact that we have PBA versus Naventic. Now, Naventic, that was their first set of the day, and they went against arguably the best team in the world. Can they try and get back into this with a win over PBA is kind of the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to. The potential's there. It would be devastating for them to go out to PBA this early.
It would be, but I already have my eyes set on eStar versus MVP Black. I had the pleasure of casting the best of 7. That was the Gold League finals between those two teams. And no lie, I think that was the best match of the entire summer regionals across the board. It was absolutely stunning, and I can't wait for that best of 3. I'm sad it's just a best of 3.
I think if I look at the next two matches coming up, I think Naventic just has to play to their strengths, and I think mechanically they are better than PBA, so they should just not do something weird in draft, just play normal and be okay, and I think they will move on. And then looking at MVP Black and eStar, if I look at that series from eStar just then, I'm slightly concerned for them going up against MVP Black. I know that they said the first game was a warm-up, and I know that they were strong in the second game. I just don't know if that level of play can contend against MVP Black at the moment.
Against someone like MVP Black, you have to be at 100% performance in the very first one, because otherwise you will get punished heavily. For now, let's actually also take a look at what the bracket is now looking like. The teams have, the groups, of course. There we go. Group A, of course, consists of eStar Gaming and MVP Black, who both are now 1-0. PBA and Naventic, they are down 1 game. Still not out of the tournament, though. As we mentioned earlier, it's a double elimination bracket, so they have 1 more shot. And then Group B, of course, which is equally stacked. X-Team, Tempest, Dignitas, and My Insanity. A very heavy focus on the European teams, but they will be shown tomorrow for you guys. And man, Kalaris is smiling like a baby here, like a happy baby. Loving it.
I'm looking forward to Dignitas versus My Insanity. That is going to be great fun. Not even sure who's going to win.
You can't say that for sure.
No.
It is actually the first regional champion against the second one, and both of them, when they won their respective titles, looked flawlessly, and you cannot actually prospect anything out of that. For now, though, what we can tell you guys about is something that Blizzard has planned for you. There is a special action going on here between the 24th of June and the 27th of June. You will be able to play all the heroes for free. It's an all-hero rotation, so grab your friends, pull them into the game, and say, you know what, we're going to play together. You don't even need to buy heroes. You can just pick whatever you want. Also, we have to mention our good friends at The Score Esports, your best source when it comes to checking scores online about Heroes of the Storm and other titles, of course, as well. Checking out the latest news. So definitely an app that we do recommend. For now, we'll go into a short commercial break, but we will be very happy to see you back in a few minutes. It's, of course, the losers match that is going to come up. PBA versus Naventic. Last chance for NA to redeem themselves. So don't go anywhere.